Nobody saw this coming. Not the way it actually happened. Not the speed of it. Not the scale of it. Not the sheer confidence of it. A company that was making batteries for mobile phones 20 years ago just dropped a family SUV that is making German engineers lose sleep, that is making Toyota and Honda rethink their hybrid roadmaps, and that is making buyers in showrooms across Europe, Australia, and the Middle East walk straight past the established names and ask the salesperson a question that would have seemed absurd 5 years ago. Tell me more about the BYD. Today on Auto Explore, we are exposing the 2027 BYD Seal U DM-i completely. Every system, every number, every real-world truth that the marketing brochure does not tell you, and that the spec sheet cannot fully explain. We are going deep, and we are going honest. Stay with us. Welcome to Auto Explore. Subscribe right now because what we cover here is worth every notification. Today we are pulling back every layer on the 2027 BYD Seal U DM, a car that has arrived in the market like a quiet earthquake. Not loud, not theatrical, but consequential in ways that take a moment to register, and that you absolutely cannot ignore once they have. This is not a hype video. This is not brand promotion dressed as journalism. This is Auto Explore doing what we always do, looking at a vehicle honestly, completely, and without the agenda that either the manufacturer's PR team or the cynics want us to have. The 2027 BYD Seal U DM-i is genuinely remarkable. Let us show you exactly why, piece by piece, system by system, with nothing held back. The story of this car begins with a story about batteries, because you cannot understand what BYD has built in the Seal U DM-i without understanding where this company came from, and why that origin makes everything about their engineering different from everything else in the market. BYD, Build Your Dreams, was founded in 1995 as a rechargeable battery manufacturer in Shenzhen. Not a car company, a battery company. Wang Chuanfu, the founder, saw the mobile phone revolution, creating a demand for rechargeable batteries that the existing industry could not efficiently supply. And he built a company to fill that gap. BYD became one of the world's largest battery manufacturers before most automotive executives had ever heard the name. When they moved into cars in 2003, the batteries came with them. And when the automotive world began its turn toward electrification, BYD was not a car company scrambling to learn battery technology from scratch. They were a battery company that already knew everything there was to know about batteries, and they were now applying that knowledge to cars with the full benefit of vertical integration that no other major automotive manufacturer can match. That integration is the source of every competitive advantage you are about to see in this vehicle. The DM-i powertrain is the heart of the Seal U and the technology that every serious automotive engineer is watching most closely right now. DM-i stands for Dual Mode Intelligent, and the system is built on a philosophy that is fundamentally different from how most manufacturer plug-in hybrids work. Most plug-in hybrids from European and Japanese manufacturers are combustion vehicles with electric systems bolted on. The combustion engine is the primary driver. The electric motor supplements it. BYD flipped this entirely. In the DM-i, the electric motors are always the primary drivers. The combustion engine, a 1.5-liter Atkinson cycle unit, calibrated to run at its peak thermal efficiency point, exists primarily as a generator to charge the battery and extend the range. The wheels are driven by electricity. The engine generates electricity. This architecture sounds like a detail, but it changes everything about how the car drives, how efficiently it manages energy, and how seamlessly the two power sources interact. It is a better idea executed better than the alternatives, and the 2027 version is the most mature expression of it that BYD has produced in any vehicle. The Blade battery in the 2027 Seal U DM-i is not a marketing name for a slightly improved conventional battery. It is a genuinely novel battery architecture that solves specific problems that conventional battery packs have always carried. The individual cells are long, flat, blade-shaped lithium iron phosphate units arranged horizontally across the battery pack in a way that allows the cells themselves to form the structural walls of the pack. This cell-to-pack design eliminates the heavy aluminum housing that conventional packs wrap around their cells, meaning more active battery material fits in the same space at less total weight. But the most significant thing about the Blade battery is safety. Lithium iron phosphate chemistry is inherently more thermally stable than the nickel manganese cobalt chemistry that many premium competitor batteries use. BYD ran the nail penetration test on the Blade battery, the most extreme battery safety evaluation in the industry, driving a steel nail through a live cell. The cell did not catch fire. It did not explode. NMC chemistry cells typically fail this test with fire. If you are putting your children in this car every morning, that is not an abstract specification. That is a direct, meaningful safety fact about the vehicle you chose, and it deserves to be stated plainly. When you pull away from a standstill in the 2027 BYD Seal U DM-i for the first time, something happens that recalibrates your sense of what a family SUV is supposed to feel like. The electric motor's torque is there instantly, completely, without the build or the hesitation that combustion power delivery always involves. You press the accelerator and the car moves, decisively and smoothly, in direct proportion to the input you gave it. This is what electric drive feels like, and it is better than combustion in this specific dimension, without any qualification or asterisk. In sport mode with both the front and rear motors active, the performance is genuinely brisk in a way that surprises people who approach this car expecting a sensibly paced family hauler. The 0 to 60 time is quick enough to embarrass vehicles that cost considerably more and that are positioned as performance machines. But the headline performance number is not the point. The point is the texture of the performance throughout the entire daily use speed range, the motorway merge, the roundabout exit, the main road overtake, all of which feel effortless and confident and natural in a way that combustion primary vehicles simply cannot replicate. The cabin of the 2027 BYD Seal U DM-i is where the exposés becomes uncomfortable for the established competition, because this is where the quality story that buyers were not expecting to find has arrived with the most direct and most immediate commercial impact. You sit in this car and you run your hand across the dashboard, and you look at the panel fits, and you operate the switchgear. And the unavoidable honest conclusion is that this is a premium interior, not premium for a Chinese car, not premium at this price point with an asterisk of qualification attached. Premium in the standard sense, comparing it against the established premium alternatives that it sits alongside in the marketplace. The soft touch surfaces are where they should be. The materials choices are considered and tasteful. The build quality is consistent in a way that reflects genuine manufacturing precision rather than occasional quality control success. The large rotating touchscreen works quickly and cleanly on the updated hardware. Its portrait orientation for navigation and landscape orientation for entertainment, a genuinely smart dual-purpose solution, rather than a showroom party trick. For buyers who have sat in a German competitor and then sat in this, the interior quality comparison is not the comparison they expected. It is essentially equal, and in some specific dimensions the BYD wins. The fuel consumption reality of the 2027 BYD Seal U DM-i is the exposed detail that most matters to most buyers, and it deserves an honest, unfiltered account rather than the best-case figure that a well-managed press event produces. Real-world owners who charge their Seal U regularly and whose daily driving is within the electric range report fuel consumption across a typical week that approaches zero. Not nearly zero. Actually zero, or very close to it, for the days when the battery covers the commute and the errands and the school run without the engine starting. On longer journeys that deplete the battery, the generator engine runs efficiently in its preferred Atkinson cycle operating zone, and the fuel consumption per kilometer is meaningfully lower than any comparable combustion SUV. The honest summary is this: for an owner who charges regularly at home, the Seal U DM-i changes the weekly energy cost of driving a family SUV from a significant recurring expense into a much smaller one. dominated by electricity rather than petrol, priced at a fraction of the petrol equivalent. That is the economic transformation that makes this car important. To the people who depend on their car as a working tool, in their daily financial reality, not just as a vehicle choice on a comparison spreadsheet, the safety credentials of the 2027 Seal U DM-i are comprehensive and genuinely impressive. The structural safety of the E-Platform 3.0 body architecture has been designed from the ground up for electrified vehicles, with the battery's structural contribution to the floor treated as part of the safety engineering from the beginning, rather than added around it. The high-strength steel crash structure around the occupant cell is specifically designed for the mass distribution and the impact geometry of a plug-in hybrid SUV. The active safety suite is complete and well-calibrated, the autonomous emergency braking, handling pedestrians and cyclists accurately, the adaptive cruise control managing motorway, following with a smoothness that reduces fatigue on long journeys, the lane centering assistance, working with a gentleness that makes it an asset rather than an intrusion. And underneath all of the active systems, the Blade battery's thermal stability provides the fundamental chemical safety assurance that the active systems cannot substitute for. This is a safe car in the complete sense, structurally, chemically, and electronically. The technology ecosystem surrounding the 2027 BYD Seal U DM-i extends beyond the car into the digital experience of ownership in ways that increasingly define how buyers relate to their vehicles. The BYD smartphone application allows remote monitoring of the battery state and charging progress, preconditioning of the cabin using grid power while the car is plugged in, journey planning that integrates the battery state with the planned route for realistic efficiency estimates, and management of the over-the-air software updates that allow BYD to deliver powertrain and system improvements wirelessly after purchase. The wireless CarPlay and Android Auto integration handles the phone as primary device use pattern that defines how most people actually use their car's technology. And the over-the-air update capability means the car you own in year 3 is better than the car you took delivery of, as the accumulated learning from the global BYD fleet translates into software improvements that are delivered silently and efficiently to the vehicle in your driveway. The 2027 BYD Seal U DM-i is a genuinely important car, and it deserves that description without qualification. Not because it is perfect, not because it is the best car money can buy by every measure in every dimension, but because it represents a real shift in what is possible in a family plug-in hybrid SUV, delivered at a price point that makes the choice commercially viable for the families who need to make real purchasing decisions in the real world. BYD has built a better hybrid architecture in the DMI system. They have built a safer and more elegant battery technology in the Blade battery. They have built an interior quality level that matches the premium established competition. And they have assembled these things into a complete vehicle that rewards serious consideration with serious answers. If you are in the market for a family SUV and you have not yet driven the 2027 BYD Seal U DM-i, you are not fully informed. Drive it, then decide. The answer might surprise you. On AutoExplorer, that kind of surprise is always worth the time. That is the complete exposés of the 2027 BYD Seal U DM-i on AutoExplorer. Subscribe if you are not already here. Share this video with anyone who is deciding between a BYD and an established alternative, or anyone who simply wants to understand what the fuss about BYD actually is. Leave a comment with your honest reaction to this car. Have you owned one? Test-driven one? Are you considering one? All of it matters, and we read all of it. See you in the next one.